In March of 2020, the coronavirus pandemic changed our lives forever. While schools closed the past spring, they then reopened in the fall for in-person classes. Today, I spoke with 3 students about how school during the pandemic has been for them. During the past school year, many students were forced to take classes either online or hybrid, with some in person and some online. While some have enjoyed the safety that online classes bring, others have found the changing schedule difficult. I talked with Taylor Marty, a West Liberty student, about what her thoughts are on how this school year compares to years of school when there wasn't a pandemic.
It sucks. I can't even go into classes. It sucks because you're like 6 feet apart. Everybody's everywhere. You don't understand. It's hard to listen to with the mask on, you know.
Although masks and social distancing are difficult, West Liberty University requires that all students, faculty, and staff maintain these guidelines for the safety of themselves and each other. While these CDC-advised protocols are necessary, they haven't made things easy either. Sean Horton, a freshman broadcast major, tells us how difficult he has found going to school during a pandemic.
It has definitely affected me academically, not in terms of grades. I have good grades, but definitely in terms of motivation. It's really taken a toll on my academic motivation. The hardest part of school has definitely been learning to juggle 5, 6, 7 things at once. I mean, especially last semester, more than this semester, not knowing whether or not you were going in person or on Zoom, or if you didn't have class, or if you did, on top of like the weather making it even more challenging to juggle that schedule.
When asked if Sean's instructors have adjusted their workload during the pandemic, he had this to say.
So my answer is no. Most of them have not accommodated for this stress of living through a pandemic. But there are a few standouts that I really appreciate.
One of the hardest parts of going to school during the pandemic has also been the toll the stress has taken on students' mental health. Since the pandemic began, depression and anxiety among college students has risen to levels never seen before. Logan tells us how the pandemic has affected her emotionally during the school year.
It's taken a really big toll. There was a point in the semester where I could not find the motivation to go to my classes because I was so emotionally exhausted and I just couldn't handle the stress of it for a little while. And then eventually I got over it and I started going to my classes again, but it's still really emotionally taxing with all the stress that's going on.
Logan was also asked if she thinks that her professors have adjusted the amount of schoolwork given during the pandemic. She had this to say.
Yes and no. Some of my professors have, but then some of my professors haven't, and they think that because of the pandemic and we're home a lot more, we have more time, which is not the case at all.
As you can see, going to school during a pandemic presents unique challenges for students. From online classes, increased stress, and a heavy workload, going to school during a pandemic can be rough. I'm Haley. Thank you for watching. This has been a magazine project.